All right, good day, everybody. I don't know why I said that. It just sounded British. Good day. But okay. So in my video about MEPS, I mentioned how my score went from a 41 to a 56 to a 78, and the first two scores were practice runs. But I didn't say how I got there, like how I studied, and so here is all about the ASVAB and study skills, because I feel like studying is really important. Like, I'm a stressor. Like, I stress about everything, and the only way that I feel comfortable is if I feel like I'm going into the situation fully prepared. It's like I wouldn't go into a gunfight without bullets, so I wouldn't go take a test without knowledge. And the only way to get knowledge is to study the information you're going to be tested on. All right, so here we go. So when I first took the test, I bombed it just because I sucked at math. Like, in high school, I've always gotten a B on my report card, always. But I had to work for that B, and I've never gotten an A in math ever my whole life. It was always a B, always. And that may sound good, but I had to work for that B. It's not even like it was just like easy for me. And my little sister, she's like a math whiz, and I hate math, and she hates reading, but I love reading, so I don't know. But yeah, so he told me to just come back in 2 weeks and focus on the arithmetic and the math. And what I realized while I was studying is that, yeah, there's a lot of different problems, but the problems are branches of the same problem, if that makes sense. Like, there's 9 different total problems, just different numbers to make the problem seem different. So these are the 9 different problems. And if I look down too much, it's because I took notes so I wouldn't go off topic. So the 9 different problems are percent problems, ratios, proportions, rates, averages, probabilities, distance, converging, and I indicated what to call the 9th one, but it's really tricky. So, yeah. So, percent problems are just like, it can come in decimal or fraction form. It's like, John worked 4 hours and he earned $30, but he has to spend 25% of that. What's the 25%? And 25% could be 0.25 or 1/4, so just make sure you know what's the decimal version of a fraction, because that could like mess you up. And ratio problems, hold on. What I'm reading out of is the Kaplan ASVAB book. It's really, really good. It has like 3 different full version tests in there. It has many version tests throughout the book, and it gives you a full explanation of each question. So for a ratio is just like, let me see, page 299, question 25. At a certain school, the ratio of teachers to students is 1 to 10. Which of the following could be the total number of teachers and students? And you'll know it's a ratio problem because it usually says ratio. So yeah. And an example of a proportions problem is, let's see. A picture that is 4 inches wide and 6 inches long is enlarged so that it's 7.5 inches long. What is the width of the enlarged picture? So yeah, that's an example. I'm not going to go through like how to solve it, but that would be an example of a proportions problem. A question of a ratio problem is, a scanner can scan 12 photos per minute. No, this is a rate problem, sorry. A scanner can scan 12 photos per minute. At this rate, how many minutes would it take to scan 60 photos? So then again, in the problem, it says the word rate, so you know what you would have to do if you learn what to do for a rate problem. Averages, you know, an average, just add them all up and divide by that number. So averages are easy, and you could tell when it's an average problem right off the jump. Probabilities. Okay, probability question. If there are 12 books on a shelf and 9 of them are mysteries, what is the probability of picking a mystery? So you just, 9 of them are mysteries, so 9 over 12 because there's 12 books, and then you would just simplify it, and then boom, that's your answer. Conversion problems. Conversion problems are just like feet to yards, or yards to feet, feet to inches, stuff like that. So just be careful, because it won't tell you, hey, you have to converge this. They'll say, like, if Sally is painting a 12-yard fence, something, 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 and it'll mention feet. Just know that, like, you gotta switch it up. Okay, and I don't know what to call this problem, but it really got me. It really confused me a lot. It goes, 3 apples cost as much as 4 pears. 3 pears cost as much as 2 oranges. How many apples cost as much as 72 oranges? And the book goes into detail how to solve it, but the book still confused me. And my cheerleading coach is actually the math teacher at our school. So I sent her a picture of the problem, and she worked it out for me. Let me see if y'all can see this. All right. So say 4 pears. No, sorry. 3 apples cost as much as 4 pears. And equals 3 pears cost as much as 2 oranges. So that cancels out. The pairs cancel out. So then you just multiply. 3 times 3 equals 9. 4 times 2 equals 8. Okay. How many? Okay, and this is going to be apples. And this is going to be oranges. So now it's asking how many apples equals 72 oranges. So 8 times 9 equals 72. So you have 72 oranges. That's what the problem says. So then you go 9 times 9 equals what? 81. Therefore, 81 apples equals 72 oranges. I don't know if you got that, but she did that, and it just clicked for me. All right, so math. If you see, these are the ones that got me, and I had to like just focus. The exclamation point. If you see an exclamation point behind a number, so C4 exclamation point. All it's saying is do 1 times 2 times 3 times 4. Bow. You got the answer. Oh, and memorize the formulas, y'all. Like, the area of a square equals the sides squared. So the area of a square equals one side squared. So one side equals 4. 4 squared equals 16, and that's the area. So just like memorize all the areas, perimeters for all the shapes, and like stick it in your head, and then when you get there and you take your test, just write it down on the paper as soon as you get there. So by the time you get to the math, like you'll have all the formulas written down. So boom, you know, you won't be confused. That's a trick I did. And while I was driving, while I was in the car on my way, like I was just like memorizing them, so like I'll know them. But this video is getting kind of long, so I'm gonna cut it off right here, and then I'm gonna start on part